What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to the Dark Avenger Comic Book Review Series, the show where we like to talk about the books that we've read in the previous week, and it has been a long time, in more ways than one, since we've been here talking comic books, and because it's been a while, we're going to have a bit of a long intro for this video. So, it's been an entire year since the last episode. Last episode, 533, came out October 9th, 2024. We are doing, for this episode, 534, the books that we read for the week of October 1st. First day of October, first week of October, 2025. An entire year later. And as I said in the live show that I did a while back, once we get started, we are not going to stop. Actually, I should correct myself. I said I was not going to stop because the last live show I did was all the way back before Michael came back. So now not only is the Dark Avenger Comic Review Series back, but the team behind it is back. And that was the biggest thing, right? Originally, Mike was gone. I was formatting my channels to do it solo. But now that Michael's back, as all of you I'm sure by now have listened to the previous two episodes of the podcast that I'm doing, Michael returned, so I've gone from reformatting everything to being just me, back to the way things were over about a decade ago, where it was Michael and I. So now we're back to the old format, so I had to catch Michael up on all the changes I made to the channels, Dark Avenger Media, Entertainment, Gaming, etc., etc. And then we formed a plan that took the summer to form. Unfortunately, because I know that during the live show I said I was going to start my reviews in the summer. However, I did also promise that I wasn't going to stop once I started, because if I did, I was going to probably more than likely end the channel. So, instead of starting in the summer and pushing things too fast, I decided to wait and plan things out. And here we are, October of 2025. The end of, we're towards the end of 2025, but now we can be more consistent. The goal for this series is always to go 1,000 episodes and beyond. For nearly a decade, we have not covered any books. Nearly. We stopped the comic reviews back in, I believe it was 2019. If I'm correct.
19 going on 20.
Yes. So we are in 2025, so that means it's been 5.5 years, because we did cover books in 2019. It's just when we got to 500 we stopped, which I believe was the summer of 2019.
Right.
And then COVID hit, and then we also got a little break. There weren't comics coming out for about a month or two. Right. It was worse, but it means that for those 2 months, no books came out, so it pushed everything forward.
And also things behind cameras.
Yeah. So anyway, beside the point, it's been 5 years. A lot has changed. And we have a lot of new stuff that's come out now. Now, unfortunately, during the summer, there were some good number ones that came out.
Yes, there was.
And for certain books in this review, they're issue number 2s. We did read the issue number 1s, or at least have an idea from the issue number 1. So this way, when we go into the number 2s, we'll talk about it. So for the very last time ever, I pray. Let me reintroduce this series. This is the Dark Avenger Comic Book Review, the show where, as I said, my brother and I talk about the comic books we read in the previous week. We go beyond just Marvel and DC. We talk about Marvel, DC, and any and all independent companies that are out there. We've covered books that are both in previews and outside. We've covered books that we've been reached out to by independent comic creators. We like and love reading comic books, and especially if it is a comic book from the independents where it's somebody who's looking to get their book exposed. We've done it here. We've covered a multitude of books from a multitude of different places across the comic book worlds.
Yes.
And we will continue to do that as we move forward here. Now, the only thing that has changed that I do want to say again, with the evolution of this channel, as it is now a strictly media channel, I know this channel's gone through some hell in the past. We're going to forget about that. This is the fresh relaunch state that we are going in. And happily, the team is, like I said, we are back. So it's basically going back to the way things were and the way things are going to remain. The Dark Avenger comic book review show is going to be where we talk about the books we've read and obviously review them. We will not be going into heavy detail here. There are 2 other comic review series that are on this channel now. One being the comic book review shorts, which are anywhere from 1 minute to 3 minutes. It is a very quick review overview of the book we've read. Those will be on YouTube Shorts, more or less, and we're going to be doing those from time to time. They're going to be, I believe I called them flash reviews or 1 minute reviews or whatever I called them. I forgot the title now, forgive me. And then we have Comics and Coffee, which is a series where we take one book and talk about it in depth, and those reviews can be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes long. Those go more in depth with the comic reviews. This show is a happy medium. The goal, other than with this episode, because we have a long intro here, the goal for this show is always going to be to try to be 30 minutes or less. We do read a lot of books, so it really depends on the amount of books a week, where we talk about our books, but we don't go into super detail, because again, this is a comic review show, which is going to encompass everything we've read. And Michael and I read a lot of books, and what also I would like to add before we get started is, we've been away for 6 years. 6 years, a year, the rest of 2019, and then from 2020 to 2025, and we are almost done with 2025. So we have been away for almost 6.5 years.
My goodness.
It is going to take us time to get reused to doing this show the way we used to. The consistency, the reviews, how we review books, and we're coming into this is the new and final era, because this is going until we either quit YouTube or we die.
Right.
So, forgive the next, I want to say grace period, which would be forgive the next 10 to 15 episodes as we get readjusted to the way things were in the past. Once we get started, though, and once we get back into our groove, things are going to be great. You're going to start seeing things that used to happen on this channel start to come back the way they used to come back, the way they used to be, where it was weekly hauls, the reviews, we're going to try to keep those weekly as well. We are already starting to read the books from the 2nd week of October. We're recording this, unfortunately, late. So we are kind of recording this as the 2nd week's books came out, but I'm going to try to get this review out there as soon as possible. As we move forward into 2026, we're going to try to get the haul videos back to weekly, like I said, and we're going to try to start getting our physical books, or at least most of them, back on the review, so this way we can show our books like we used to. Now, we do still read books strictly digitally, so those books will still remain. We have a tablet, once again, which Michael will show you really quickly, which I meant you could show the front.
Oh.
Which, it's going to show you the first book. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the tablet is going to be where we show the covers of the books we've read digitally.
Yes. And when I do my reviews, though, I do the whole looking...
Yeah, Michael looks through the digital books to make sure that, he gets his facts.
But I'm not going to go into deep detail. I'm just going to
until he gets his physical books. Once he gets his physical books, he won't be using the tablet anymore. Because all your
the books are going to be physical, like I'm there.
Exactly. So the tablet's going to be for covers of books we read digitally, so I don't have to worry about editing in books anymore. We'll have the covers right here that we could show all of you. And then when we have the physical books, obviously we could hold the books up like we used to also. That's all coming in 2026 when we start getting back into weekly books. I'm going to try for December. More than likely, it's looking like we're going to have to get through the holiday seasons first, and then once we get through the holiday season,
then things will go back.
Things will start to work their way in, and then everything on the channel should be coming back little bits at a time. Live shows, however, I believe are going to be strictly for Twitch. So if I do end up bringing Dark Avenger Live back, I will make an advertisement video where I will promote my Twitch channel, and that's probably where we're going to stream Dark Avenger Live, just because there really isn't any way for me to promote or set up a live show. StreamYard got ridiculously priced. The hike in price was insane, and I didn't even realize the last 2 months I had it that the price had skyrocketed. And again, I've talked about this, so I don't want to go too in-depth in other shows. We'll save that for another video. But for the reviews, we're going to try to stay consistent, and we are now officially back on the road to 1,000. We've unfortunately missed out on 6.5 years worth of comic books. But we're back, and we're going to try to stay consistent from this point on. A lot has changed, like I said. Superman has a whole family now. We have the Absolute Universe in DC Comics, which is going amazing in my opinion.
We have a lot of things going on in Marvel, too.
Yeah, the Ultimate Universe is back. There have been several events that have happened already. We have another event that I believe is coming soon.
And we have also, with the books that we read before, we have different writers who are doing the comic books as well.
But that goes without saying.
No. I'm just saying, but it's still, it needs to be mentioned.
Oh, definitely. So we have new teams, new everything, and it's exciting for us because we haven't been around. I haven't listened to any reviews in a long time. So for us, and I will say this though, for any new comic book readers, as someone who hasn't been reading right along for the past while, it is hard to jump in with a lot of books because a lot of books are in the middle. You never could find that ground where everything starts off at number one. So it's always hard, and you'll see it in here where when we mention numbers. I will say for new readers, it is difficult to jump in the middle. So my recommendation will always be try to wait for something to be in a new arc, even if you want to jump into multiple
Or if you want to get a graphic novel.
Go grab the graphic novel beforehand, exactly. Because it is difficult. I will agree. For a lot of people who told us it's difficult, it is difficult to just jump back in or jump in to comic books because unless you're reading only one or two titles, if you're doing what we're doing where we're reading multiple books, you're never going to find a place where everything magically lines up perfectly and you're able to get all of your books at a starting story arc.
It needs to start from the beginning to get your mindset of what the book is talking about.
Exactly. So it has been difficult doing that as well. There have been a lot of blockades trying to get back into doing this review. But hey, we're going to struggle through the beginning, like I said. Give us a 10-episode grace period. Let us get through the rest of 2025. And hopefully as we get into 2026 and as we're reading books and as we're moving forward, stories will start to make sense, things will start to run better, and then we'll just be back to doing what
and things will stick to the way they used to be.
Exactly. And if there's anything you'd like to see us do in the future, as always, comments are below for a reason. No, Tevya, I'm not bringing back Angry Italian here. You can make that recommendation over on Dark Avenger Entertainment. I'm just going to throw that out there now.
Okay. That was a random thing.
But with that being said, let's get started.
Yes.
Finally, once again, bringing the Dark Avenger Comic review to a start after a 6-year or a 6-year touch and go thing between the last 33 episodes. Let the consistency begin, and we're going to start that and this review off with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, issue number 2.
Oh, 3. Oh, I didn't see that.
It is the third time that Power Rangers and TMNT have crossed over, and I unfortunately didn't read the second crossover, which is kind of sad. I really wish I had read it. Now, issue number 1 did not get a chance to read, but jumping into issue number 2, Splinter is gone, and Leo blames the Rangers. However, Lord Zed now has morphers Lord Zed and Shredder now have morphers and are powering Shredder's minions as Rangers as well, and it leaves it up to the Power Rangers and Turtles, who now have their Morphin powers back once again, to fend them off and find a way to stop Shredder and Zed.
So basically the Foot Clan and the Putties.
The thing I like though is Leo is very pissed at the Rangers, especially Tommy, because he blames Tommy for what happened to Splinter, and that leads to a bit of a crossroad, and Leo goes off on his own. He does show up at the end of this issue. Really interested to see where this miniseries goes, I will say that. Excellent issue, as always, when it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Love it. Looking forward to getting back into the main TMNT series at some point. I'm gonna have to look into that. I know Casey has a miniseries and Shredder both have have ongoing split-off series. So I'm looking forward to getting into those at some point too. I believe Casey's only in issue 2, so I can get back to issue 1. Shredder is in about issue 3. That's gonna take a little bit, but when they come out, you'll be seeing them here. And then you got the main TMNT book. But anyway, next book's yours.
So this one, I love reading the Masters of the Universe comics with He-Man, but this is a one-shot of Andra Or Andra, if I said it right.
Andra.
Yeah, and it's another word for man-at-arms, basically, is her name. And it starts off, and it starts off where she introduces her character, and she's training cadets to be just like her in case of any event should happen. So she and Duncan are teaching the cadets about training, and then we have I forgot what the person's name is, who possesses Duncan to do something, and that's where they go to the king, and then she goes off to this island to see what's going on, and there's like a bit of a red mist that happens when she goes off to the island. And she has an amulet where, I can't remember what the villain's name is in the book, but I'm going to look into that. And his objective is to take away the amulet so that way he takes over the whole island. But I will give at least the artwork to this book.
You don't have, no, we'll do artwork when we get the physical books.
Alright, well, anyway, yeah. So, long story short, the villain gets the amulet thanks to the whole thing of where Duncan is led off to that island. But the thing is that he doesn't have the whole... Yeah. He doesn't have all of the amulet, because there's only half of it missing. So, because they know that he is going to come back, they train the people on the island to make sure that they could get the amulet back before anything else should happen, because it holds a really huge power, this amulet. So they go off and they train, and then they stop the guy from when he came back to retrieve the amulet, and there's a little bit of a backstory in her origin about her parents, where both of her parents died, but her father actually comes back and then actually helps her out with this of getting back the amulet and retrieving it back. So I'm trying to find his name, but I can't remember who it is. And basically with the amulet, he takes it away from Andra because she is the key
I think they said their name
to the answer. Count Marceau. Thank you. And he gets like all these powers, and it makes him also young again because he was very old. So long story short, they retrieve it back thanks to the help. She goes back to the island with the amulet, and he goes off to prison. The king thanks them, and you also get He-Man in this issue where he does the whole "I have the power," and it's like really amazing artwork where they showed it here. But yeah, really interesting book, and it was a really great one-shot. Definitely would recommend you He-Man fans or Man-at-Arms fans to definitely read this book. And yeah, really great book, and I really enjoyed the issue as well.
This book was actually surprising. Starship Godzilla, issue number 1, continuing the Kaisei era. So, IDW, really quickly, has released a Kaisei era. It's the new era for Godzilla. There are a bunch of series that are connected. There's Godzilla, there's Starship Godzilla, and then there's going to be, there's one other title that's going with Godzilla right now. So we've got 2 side titles and then the main one. Starship Godzilla takes place in the future, and it's these I don't know if they're bounty hunter people or people who are off doing a job, and the job is to take or to steal these kaiju eggs, and one of them hatches on the space station, and it's up to them to capture this baby kaiju, which is already the size of a I would say like maybe a lion or a full-size wolf, maybe a little bit bigger actually. It's a huge little baby animal, kaiju, and they're chasing it all throughout the ship. The artwork is done really well for this book. I think it fits perfectly. Honestly, I really do like it a lot. They finally do capture it. It becomes kind of like, I feel like it kind of becomes like a pet towards the end. And then there's a little twist that I'm not going to give away at the very end of the book. But we find out who, well, we don't find out who sent them for the job, but we find out that someone knows who set up the job. And it's somebody that the main character does not like. That's all we know. And then there's a surprise on that last page, that's for sure. Interesting book. Does it feel like Godzilla? No, because I mean they are technically in what do you call it? Oh God, I forgot the name right now. Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah. They
are in that. That's their starship. But other than that, do I feel like there's any connection with Godzilla right now? No. Will we see Godzilla at some point? I hope. We'll see. But till then, This was an excellent first issue. I did enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds, whether it'll be a miniseries, 12 issues, which will be a year, or an ongoing. Excellent first issue.
Okay, next book is mine, which is Tales of the Shadowman, issue number 2. So in the last issue of Shadowman...
Really quick. So Valiant, which is called Alien Comics, was bought by IDW. Right now, they're releasing 4 books. This is one of them, and it's called Valiant Beyond. Well, it's Valiant Comics, but it's the over title is Valiant Beyond. And as you all know, Mike likes Valiant, so he's going to be covering all 4 books, which is Shadowman, Harbinger, Exo, Bloodshot.
Yes, Bloodshot. Yeah, I almost forgot that one. Yeah. So basically,
Shadowman.
Yes.
Issue 2.
So from the last issue, he wanted to find out who Jack Boniface is. So we go. Oh, thank you. So we go in this story about where she is working with a detective who is actually trying to find out the answers to the person that Shadowman is looking for. So they go to this carnival-like thing. First of all, the artwork, it's a little bit iffy, but you know, I mean, Shadowman is kind of like in that Rome era, so you could kind of understand why the artwork's like this. I'm not saying it's good, not saying it's bad. It's actually a pretty good artwork, but it's like all over the place because Shadowman is, you know, an all over the place character.
Yeah.
So when they go to this carnival, they meet up with somebody who actually has some answers that they want to give to Shadowman about Jack Boniface and his whereabouts and stuff like that. So he does warn them that there's a little bit of a person they have to go see who's called Mr. Twist. And Mr. Twist is more of a psychic person who could actually give them, like I said, all the answers that they're looking for. And there's a really huge antagonist in this book that goes after Detective Malice and Magic. That's his name. And he's a creepy looking character. Like, remember Poltergeist, I think in the second movie where it's like that creepy guy? He actually reminds me of that guy. It's really, really creepy. But yeah, all in all, you know, he gets the magic over her, but then Shadowman comes in and then saves her from that. And at the end of the issue, I don't want to give too much away, but there is a little bit of a twist at the end of the book where things don't go right because they were about to find the answers, but Mr. Twist, I don't think he'll be living after what he went through. Yeah. And that is to be continued in the next issue. So, really great book, and I'm really interested and looking forward to the next issue that comes out for Shadowman, but definitely recommended for those of you who read Valiant comic books. Well, Valiant Beyond.
And here we go. We are now in Marvel Comics. That was all of our independence this week. We are starting with Star Wars issue number 6. I enjoyed this. So, apparently, it says the Clone Wars. It's funny because this takes place after the 6th movie. So Darth Vader's dead now. Han Solo's back. So the last series, funny enough, when we were doing the reviews right before 500, that Star Wars series was starting, and that took place between episode 5 and 6. So Darth Vader was alive, but Han Solo was gone because he was encased in the carbonite, because that's what took place between the 2 movies. Now, the comic series started up again. This is 10-year anniversary, as the cover said. And now we're post Return of the Jedi. So this is now in between the original trilogy and the trilogy we got from Disney that we don't talk about. But anyway, so the Resistance, there's still an empire out there. So even though Darth Vader's gone, the Resistance is still fighting against a new type of empire. And in this issue, we get to see the troopers, not the clone troopers, we get to see the robots from the droids from episodes 1 through 3. They show back up. There's reference to Luke being just like his father back during the Clone Wars, which is why the cover says Clone Wars. And it was just a really nice issue. The artwork was spectacular for this book. I really did like it a lot. Again, I'm a little lost with the story still. There is another story going on with Leia, and it looks like she's about to cause an assassination to try to push the Resistance forward into victory. Looks dark. I don't think it's what it seems. However, we'll have to wait to find out. But it was an excellent issue. Again, I'm struggling with the story because we're in the middle of something, I feel, right now. But as we move forward, I'm sure I'm going to catch on more and more. But it is weird not seeing Darth Vader around anymore. I'm guessing after this volume, they'll go around again and they'll touch on a different part of history. It is weird because there is a Darth Vader, the Shadow of Darth Vader or whatever. That's the only Star Wars book I'm not buying, but it's like the Shadow of Darth Vader, which is basically Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And like it references back to Darth Vader, but it's not a Darth Vader comic per se. It's not the Darth Vader. So yeah, it is kind of weird not to see a Darth Vader book anymore. Maybe something will change in the future, but for right now, this is the current status quo and universe for Star Wars.
Usually in the Star Wars universe, we don't see Darth Vader. That could mean big things.
No, Darth Vader's dead. This is after he died.
Also, this is
like the end. This is after Return of the Jedi.
Because usually when there's a character that dies in the Star Wars,
No.
big.
This is the end. This is after Darth Vader's gone.
Okay.
We might see him come back as a Force Ghost because remember he was a Force Ghost, but we won't see him come back as Darth Vader. He'll come back as Anakin. So. I am reading Star Wars Legacy. That is another book you'll see on here, and Michael's actually covering Dr. Aphra,
yeah.
Because that's connecting with this book, and you never know if there'll be a crossover.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also some miniseries I'm grabbing, like Boba Fett.
Yep.
But anyway, we're in now actual Marvel. Ultimate Wolverine issue 10. I'm a little lost with what's going on right now, but Sabretooth is taking a group of kids away. He wants to move on, disappear, and Wolverine. Now remember, this is all setting up because I believe I covered the Ultimate Universe a little bit during the 33 episodes. So the Ultimate Universe has been reborn thanks to the Maker. However, the Maker did it in his image, so he changed everything. The best book that's coming out of the Ultimate Universe right now is Ultimate Spider-Man, in my opinion. But it's Spider-Man getting his powers at age 30 instead of when he was a teenager. So they're trying to make the Marvel Universe right again. And the Maker has been locked away for the past couple of years. However, they're about to go through the Marvel, the fight, because I believe books coming out in December. Issue number 1 of the Ultimate, I forget what it's called, but it's going to be the event where the Maker is now freed. And we might see like the end of that, and then we continue on with the new Ultimate Universe, or maybe they'll go back in time and just restart the Ultimate Universe and we'll get the original Ultimate Universe back. I don't know what Marvel has planned for this Ultimate Universe, because originally the Ultimate Universe was a retelling of the Marvel heroes, but connected, at least in the past and in the origin, to semi-status quo of OG Marvel. What they're going to do with this series, I don't know. But I will say I am liking what's going on with Ultimate Spider-Man. I would recommend checking the trades out for that. You would like it.
Mm-hmm.
But with Ultimate Wolverine, I love how Colossus is on the opposite side. He is going after Wolverine and his group. And he sends Omega Red after them. And things don't pan out so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like we're going to get a Colossus versus Wolverine at some point. Looking forward to it again. I'm really in the middle, because this was issue number, what
10.
was it, 10? Yeah, I've been away from it for a hot minute, but it's going really strong. It's something new, something interesting.
Yes, and speaking of something new, this is
we do have some number ones this month.
Yes, Spider-Man Noir, issue number 1.
I saw that, and before you came back, I was gonna grab it, but I'm glad you're grabbing some
But this series is actually really interesting. So it talks about Spider-Man Noir's origin, which is a little bit different.
Oh, they went into the origin again.
They went to the origin. Basically, Mary Jane and him are not together anymore, and she is...
Oh, surprise. Marvel separating Mary Jane and Spider-Man for the umpteenth time.
Yeah, and then saying that she's living with Aunt May, but she does talk to Aunt May, and this Spider-Man Peter Parker is actually a detective in this comic book.
Yeah, we know this.
I'm just saying for the people who don't. I'm saying that's his origin.
Okay.
So his detective first assignment, he actually helps out with Gwen to find out the death of her father. And then there's a whole big thing where he's like saying, okay, I will help you out with looking for this, because there's a difference between him being a superhero and being a detective work. He's late on rent, but he actually gets the rent money, and that woman's really something. I want him. Because, the poor man, he's going through so much and everything, between so much that's going on, and like another thing added to him, it's like really, sad for him and everything. So long story short, as he looks into this case, it seems that the involvement of that could be probably Spider-Man Noir himself with the whole thing. And that was a whole twist at the end, just seeing that picture. And that is to be continued, actually. Really great artwork and really amazing story. And I'll definitely be looking into the next Spider-Man Noir to see what happens with this case, as well as his story progresses about his character. Because I never read his character. This is actually a good jump-on-friendly comic book for him.
Mm-hmm. So I just need to know the legacy numbering in this 1 second.
Yeah.
So, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 13, or legacy number 977. I started collecting Amazing Spider-Man again at 975 because we are counting up to 1,000. This series, apparently, from this point until 1,000 is counting towards it. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't agree with what Marvel says about Spider-Man and Mary Jane. I don't agree with any of it. The whole Brand New Day garbage, we've been through this. We've been here for years. We've been doing this review since 2015, was it? 2014. And this was before Brand New Day. And then Brand New Day happened. I stand on the side of Peter Parker and Mary Jane can be married. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to cut the marriage part and just make them boyfriend and girlfriend, fine. The fact that Marvel has not only stuck to their guns about Pete and Mary Jane not being married, but also have gone above and beyond and fought back against fans who have been, just asking for them to bring back the status quo that was Spider-Man. That was Spider-Man since the 1960s and 50s and whatever is disgusting. And the fact that they still push out these Spider-Man books and continue to make sure it's known that Mary Jane and Spider-Man are never getting back together, ever, and Marvel themselves, the writers have been trying, but Marvel Comics, the company, have been fighting so hard to make sure that never happens. That's what annoys me. That's what pisses me off. And I, again, say, this was a really good story, but I can't 100% stand behind Marvel with Amazing Spider-Man because I think what they're doing is wrong. They tried to do Family Ties or Family Values, whatever it was back in the day, which they tried to satiate us fans about it, and then they got rid of it because like, oh look, it's not bullshit. Marvel, you know better, and I will call you out on this every time. However, I do want to keep going at least till issue 1,000 to see where they're going with Spider-Man. And then again, I will not tell you to or not to buy this book because again, I think Marvel's wrong and should just give the fans what they want. That's the whole point of making comic books. Yeah. You're writing for the fans. You're not writing for yourselves. And the fact that thousands upon thousands, maybe millions of fans are saying, "Hey, we want Mary Jane and Spider-Man together," you should accommodate. It's true for them. This isn't your comic. This is your own property, but it is something that we all love reading. It's our hero that you write and own, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's a public figure. This was a good book, though. I like the costume, which was introduced in the last issue. Spider-Man is lost in space, and he gets this hodgepodge group of people together and makes a promise that he's going to deliver this cargo somewhere, and rockets with him. And you get a little backstory. It goes from the past to the present to the past to the present of how the group got together, why the group got together, and then how they ended up working together to stop this group and get the cargo to where it belonged. However, there's a little twist at the end. Spider-Man is really not lost in space. He's in space and with this one person who actually did wrong, who he's giving a second chance to, because he wants this person, I'm going to spoil this much, to make him stronger, so when he does go home, he'll be a stronger Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I do think the costume's interesting for where it is. Obviously, it's not going to stick, but I'm interested in seeing where the story goes from here. Again, I won't say to or not to pick this book up. I cannot endorse Amazing Spider-Man until Marvel fixes their stubbornness. We'll call it that. Venom has now officially reached issue number 250. We have left the old numbering and gone to the legacy numbering of 250, and this is a special Because, of course, when issues like this reach a special number, Marvel finds a reason to charge you anywhere from $8 to $10 for the book. So, for those of you that don't know, Mary Jane, for now, is Venom. Venom has left Eddie Brock behind. Eddie Brock has his own symbiote now. Well, his own symbiote. Basically, Eddie Brock is now Carnage. For those of you that don't know, there is a book called Eddie Brock Carnage, which I will be covering whenever that issue comes out. Actually, he's in this book. But, right now, Mary Jane is Venom. And her and Venom have their differences. Obviously, Mary Jane is taking care of Dylan, and Dylan didn't know that Mary Jane had the symbiote at first, and then found out Mary Jane did have the symbiote, and it was the symbiote's way of keeping an eye on Dylan. And then this issue we also find out, well, we knew already, but I found out that Mary Jane and her boyfriend are no longer together, and Dylan is being watched after by him, and Dylan tells Venom he wants nothing to do with him. There's a fight between Venom and Mary Jane and Madame Mask, which is really good. And then there's a backstory about an alien getting, I won't say which alien or where, coming to Earth to warn Earth that Culler's coming back again. And his fight to get to Earth and to get his message to Venom. And we also find out that there might be a new host for Venom, because Mary Jane doesn't want to be Venom anymore. Mary Jane wants to get out of that suit as soon as possible. She hates Eddie Brock as well, because this all connects back to when Venom first came out.
Right.
And we get a little backstory, a secondary story with Eddie Brock in it, and how we thought he was dead, he wasn't dead, now he misses being a symbiote, now he wants to get a symbiote back. Very, very interesting. I will be sticking around for now. I want to see where this new arc goes, because Venom is coming back with a new costume as well, and it looks like a mix between the Ben Reilly Spider-Man costume and Venom. I don't know how I feel, and it also depends on Venom's new host. Mm-hmm. If it's stupid, I'll probably end up dropping it and waiting for Eddie Brock to get, because we all know Brock's gonna get his Eddie's.
Oh
gonna
yeah,
get his
without a shout out, yeah.
So when Eddie Brock gets Venom back, I might jump in again, but we'll see. I'm not saying I'm dropping it yet. I want to see where the book goes, but the book is going in a new direction. We're going, instead of with the old numbering, we're going back to the legacy numbering. So 251 and 252. We will see what these two issues give to us and go from there. But it looks like Venom has a new host, and I won't spoil who it is in the issue, but very interesting. We'll find out next time. New Avengers issue number 5. So the New Avengers find a evil Mr. Fantastic clone and have to stop him because he's trying to turn the world into a bunch of Fantastic Four people by using the gamma rays that made the Fantastic Four. So he wants to evolve the world and make them into Fantastic Four people. They show up in this town, and everybody has a different Fantastic Four members' abilities. And they're fighting against this evil Reed Richards, and it comes to a point where they have to actually call the Hulk in to help. And Hulk don't like them very much. And I know there's a whole thing going on with the Hulk as well. I have no clue. But I know Bruce Banner's locked inside of Hulk's mind, and Hulk is... Poor Hulk keeps hopping around from Bruce Banner being in control to Hulk being in control.
Are they still doing that?
Oh, they're hopping around. Immortal Hulk was
no, because they've been doing that in the Avengers movie, too.
It's a whole thing. So, whatever's going on with Hulk, though, I've never really taken interest ever. Immortal Hulk was the best one as far as a horror stories Hulk. After that, I've moved on. But Hulk helps them stop the evil Mr. Fantastic. Black Widow, this is definitely one of those, they are like Task Force X, because they come in and they're not there to put people in jail. They're there to eliminate the threat, which is what they do. And then we find out that there are other clones of other members of the Avengers team, and we find out through the clone of Tony Stark that there might be a traitor in the New Avengers. I won't spoil who it is, but damn, with that last page if it's true. Looking forward to seeing more New Avengers. We are now moving into DC Comics.
Yes, and we're going to start off with Cheetah and Cheshire, Rob the Justice League issue number 3. So I did read issues number 1 and 2. Basically 3, it really wasn't really that hard to miss out on. It's basically Cheetah and Cheshire. They're forming the newest people to be like a Justice League side, and I can make this short. Their objective is to steal a power bank, because this power bank is supposed to give them some type of, if I want to say this right, it gives them some type of power or somewhat that they actually need for the team, and you get a little bit of the in-depth reviews about the other members who are in the team. And then
so you get backstories.
Yeah, you get backstories about who they are and everything. The little boy is actually really interesting because he kind of has a crush on somebody, but you know how heroes or anti-heroes aren't supposed to be falling in love with each other in their terms, so they try to separate them, and that's actually really something else. But they do talk about it's also to stop the odd intellectual or interdimensional invasion from basically this. So that's what the power bank is really about, trying to change the past and present to make it into a better future. But I want to just show you, because I don't want to say this, the little boy does go somewhere where he is not supposed to go, and let's just say he bumps into somebody, or
is it the name we talked about before?
Mm-hmm, or someone, and basically he's not alone in this, if I could get the picture.
I know who it is, you told me before.
Well, yeah. So basically, yeah. That's something definitely gonna look into. That's really interesting much, but you'll have to read the book to see what it is. But oh my gosh, it just, even though I didn't cover 1 and 2 on here, issue 3 could just sum it up what happened in issues 1 and 2. Just to form a team and get the power bank, that's it.
We're now in a series. I read issue 1. This is issue 2 of Batman. So in issue 1, really quickly, I can sum that up easy. It was Batman versus an evolved Killer Croc. Really good story. Highly recommend checking out issue 1 if you haven't already. But the book, issue 1 ends with Red Robin, Tim Drake, reaching out to Batman for help. This book starts off with what happened to Tim Drake as he's trying to stop a criminal, to the point where the police show up and he calls Bruce for help. The GCPD and Batman no longer work together. The GCPD is run by Vandal Savage. A lot has changed in the Batman realm, which is crazy. So Batman and Robin are, and any of the Bat family right now, are public enemy number 1. Police are, because Vandal Savage is the head, police are told shoot on sight. They are literally savage now, the police. They're allowed to do lethal force in order to stop someone. And the 2 police that stop Robin and the criminals he's stopping, one is more on Vandal Savage's side, where he shoots. If people don't listen, he shoots, and that's what happens with Robin. He gets shot. And the other police officer's like, we don't do this. And he's like, yes, we do. Vandal Savage says we do from this point on. So we are. Batman shows up to save Robin. There's a bit of a back and forth that goes on. Things happen. I don't want to spoil it, but Batman ends up, Vandal Savage finds a way to twist it to make it look like it's Batman's fault. And now the GCPD once again have labeled Batman as public enemy number 1 and are going to be going after him. And it's very interesting. We have Alfred, who is still dead. I thought they brought Alfred back to life. I guess I was wrong. I mean, again, I have been away for a while. I thought they resurrected him already. I guess not. But Alfred is still in Bruce's psyche. And I love how in the first issue, which has me worried, where Killer Croc mentioned about his mind being broken and needing to be fixed, and mentioning Batman's mind was broken and needed, healing as well. And Batman's like, no, and Killer Croc, with that foreshadowing of, if you say so, but it's not true, has me worried. I hope we get Alfred back at some point, but it's interesting that this might be something that evolves over time. We have a new Batsuit, of course. I thought this was a really good issue. I'm looking forward to seeing where Batman goes. I'm not reading Detective Comics or anything else at this moment. Maybe in the future, not sure. For right now, I'm sticking to Batman, and there's another Batman series that is a mini-series that I'm reading. And then there's also Gotham by Gaslight, the Justice League, which I'm reading. But as far as ongoing Batman series, this is the one I'm reading for now. We'll see about Detective in the future. I'm sure there'll be a crossover, and when there's this big Bat family crossover, I'll probably end up picking up Detective and then just continuing it from that point on. But that's not today, tomorrow, or anytime soon. So, Batman, really good. Issue 1 and 2, if you can get your hands on it, well, you can get your hands on it. Really good read, especially if you're a Batman fan. Now we delve into the Absolute Universe, the ultimate version of DC Comics. Or basically what DC Comics should have done instead of the New 52 that we had to suffer through for 5 years. This is where they should have gone. Absolute Superman, issue number 12. So much has gone on. So much in Superman. I am 12 issues behind, and I still am lost with certain things that have gone on. Superman just survived his encounter with Brainiac, and Vandal Savage is going after him, and Superman wants to stay away from people. In this universe, the Absolute Universe is made in the image of Darkseid. So all the bad things that could happen have happened. And Superman is not loved in this universe, not celebrated, not a hero. So when he does something heroic,
what is he?
He's chased after.
So he's like a wanted criminal or something? Or
They
wanted,
want to take him
basically?
and study him because he's an alien.
Oh.
And the crazy thing is, he doesn't have a Fortress of Solitude because his costume soul is the Fortress of Solitude.
So wait, what Earth are they on?
This is the Absolute Universe. It's a mirror universe of the...
Oh, so that's a different type of universe.
Right.
Okay.
Instead of being part of the 52 universes, it is like Earth Zero, I would say.
Yeah, Earth
I forget
Zero,
what
so that's
it is.
the Earth they're on.
I don't even know if it's even Earth Zero. It's some type of a reflective... Like, the main universe split. It was during there was a Darkseid event that happened a year ago. This is issue 12. So, it happened about a year ago where there was an event in Justice League. Darkseid happened. They stopped Darkseid, but his energy mixed with the DC universe and split it. So, he took a universe and made it in his image, and then there's the DC universe. And at some point, there's going to be a big collision, which is what they're going to be talking about with... we're going to be talking about soon. But in the Absolute Universe, things are dark. So Superman wants to stay away. He ends up having to be Superman once again, and ends up saving the day going back to the Kent farms, or something happened to the Kents. In this universe, there are no Kents anymore. And apparently Lois and Jimmy are on Superman's side.
They've always been on Superman.
Well, yes, but now they weren't. Now they're a team. It looks like the three of them are going to be a team. And Vandal Savage is sending his army to get Superman once again. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I am... Because it's a offshoot now, instead of like the New 52, this isn't Superman, because we're going to talk about Superman, but this is a ultimate version of Superman. This is what they should have done instead of the New 52. I don't understand why they didn't do this back in 2015 and save us the heartache of 5 years of a headache.
Because maybe they didn't know or want to?
Maybe. But here we are with Adventures of Superman, Book of L, issue number 2. First issue, sum it up, Superman on the farm with his entire family, because now Superman is no longer alone, nor does he just have his son. There's him, his son, 2 people he adopted, 2 kids he adopted from a War World story arc, Power Girl, Supergirl. Keenan has joined the fray as part of the Superman family. It is just a humongous... And then you got Connor as well. The original Connor is back.
Oh.
So there's no short in super family people at this point. It's like a whole family. Superman went from just him and his family to a gigantic one. So they were on the Kent farm, and then they get attacked. Superman fights, and then we find out that he gets teleported away somewhere. This issue, we find out he's teleported to the future. And... the future is a dark place right now. Because of events that have happened in the past that have sent Superman into the future, he has to find his way back to the present while he's fighting these beings that he followed or that have taken him into this time. And we find out that there's one surviving person from the past that is still alive, but an old man in the Fortress of Solitude, and possibly the only way for him to get back to the present. And we also find out, spoilers-ish here, someone else got thrown in time as well. So Superman's not the only one lost in time right now. Somebody else in the super family is lost in time. And they have to find them and get Superman home as well. But the L family has broken since Superman's absence. So he has to find a way back to the present to fix the dark future that he is now in,
Oh, he's got a lot in his hands in this.
Superman always has a lot in his hands. Interesting story. I believe this is going to be an ongoing, but I believe this is the first story arc of the ongoing, if I'm correct. Looking forward to seeing where this goes. However, we're going to jump back to the Absolute Universe for Absolute Evil issue number 1. It's a one-shot. All of the evil people in the Absolute Universe have noticed Superman's appearance, Batman's appearance, Wonder Woman's appearance, and are now joining together in their own version of a Justice League to stop them. Vandal Savage is the leader, and I feel so bad for the Green Arrow of this Absolute Universe, because the poor guy who opened the issue up ends up, how do I put this kindly? They did Green Arrow dirty in the Absolute Universe because he is no longer among the living. Because this Justice League that is formed, this Absolute Evil Justice League, is savage, and they want to stop the heroes in their tracks. Because already they've seen little team-ups and stuff.
Is this like a Forever Evil?
Sort of.
Oh, gosh.
They do reference back to the Justice Society of America a bit. So apparently this universe did have a Justice Society. But they are banding together, and at the end of the issue we see there's one other person they need to join their group. And that is the absolute, spoiler, because I believe this is a one-shot, is the absolute Lex Luthor. They need him. He's living on a farm somewhere, happy, with a family, everything, because, again, this is the Absolute Universe. So
he doesn't have his own building still?
No, apparently, because
LexCorp?
It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like the universe where the good guys are the bad guys and the bad guys are the good guys, but in this universe, because Superman's origins are so different, it deviates enough that Lex Luthor never crossed paths with Superman, so he's actually a good guy. Mm. It looks like. I could be wrong, but he's a good guy. So they need Lex Luthor. But anyway, now this is a book we both read.
Yes, both of us read.
This is the prelude to DCKO, which issue number 1 came out this week, so I don't know if we or I will be talking about issue 1. We probably will, because it's going to involve the entire DC universe, but this is Justice League, the Omega Act special. It's a one-shot, and it sets up for DCKO.
Yes.
Booster Gold is talking with Time Master Doomsday, which we saw in the Superman comics, that Doomsday is Time Master now, and he's trying to convince Doomsday that he needs to talk to Superman and tell him about the dark future that's coming, because Darkseid and his legion of Omega superheroes are attacking the future, yes, and working their way towards the past.
Yes, but he prevents him from telling Superman that because he freezes...
Time Master freezes time. And the thing is, right, Doomsday refuses to talk to Superman because he did try to talk to Superman in a previous story arc. I do remember seeing the covers and skimming it as I was buying my comics. I have been buying my comics. These past 6 years, I've still been buying comics. Believe it or not, I've been buying and skimming and reading and keeping an eye on things, but I haven't been completely up to date. So, but I do know this arc. So Doomsday is like, no, Superman's not going to listen to me. He's absolutely not. But he insists on dragging... But Booster says maybe he'll listen to me, so Doomsday takes him into the future to show him what's happening. And
why
Flash...
he shouldn't tell him.
Yeah. And Flash, because he can move fast, noticed Doomsday talking to Booster Gold and chases along with them into this dark future where the Legion from the Absolute Universe is fighting, and they go into 1 million. We get to see the Justice League from 1 million show fighting this Legion of superheroes that are Darkseid's Omega Legion. And Doomsday's like, the future is destroyed and is doomed. We have to take whoever will listen to us and take them into the past and run and hide from Darkseid. Because Darkseid is absolute. And the future is doomed. And Doomsday refuses to believe that the Justice League or anybody can stop Darkseid. And it takes a lot of talking and convincing, but finally Booster Gold is able to get Doomsday to agree to talk to Superman because he realizes that maybe, and there's a little bit of a backstory with Supergirl back in the past, where they bump into where Doomsday was born. Apparently, Doomsday wasn't the Omega weapon; he was the Omega champion, and now there's going to be a big tournament between heroes to see who the actual Omega, I guess the Omega champion is, who will be able to possibly stop Darkseid and the Legion of Omega.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting story of who's going to be the Omega champion.
And that's going to be
probably going to say it's going to be Superman. I don't think it's going to be Superman. I think it's going to be someone who we don't expect to win.
I expect it won't be Superman either. But there's this big tournament, and that is the big event that we're going into for DC Comics for the rest of 2025. Let's say that. For the rest of 2025, this is the next major event. And it's DC KO.
Good.
And issue 1 is coming out this week, which came out this week.
So
it's going to be in the next episode, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And then as we move forward, there'll be issue 2, there'll be side issues. I know that it's crossing over with Flash, so expect to see Flash. Titans, I am reading Titans already. Superman, it's crossing into... I think that's it for the beginning, and then there's going to be a bunch of one-shots. Whatever DC KO is in, we'll be covering here.
Yes.
So, hey, at least we're at the start of the DC Comics event. Unfortunately, Doomscape's almost over in Marvel, so we're not going to cover it. We're just going to let the Doom event happen.
Yeah,
Dr. Doom.
But we're mostly covering books that are from the starting point.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Dr. Doom, the Dr. Doom event that's going on right now is ending in another month or so. So I'm going to let that end.
Right?
Yeah, that's Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to let this Marvel event end. The next one we'll jump in on for sure. But KO is looking to be interesting. Seeing Doomsday actually intelligent is very interesting as well. But
yeah, it was very interesting to see Doomsday actually helping out. I'm like, whoa.
well, Doomsday's Time Master, so he's trying to preserve and keep time in his
yeah, but he's the one who killed Superman, and now he's a Time Master.
We don't know how that.
That's the thing that I was like saying, like, wait a minute, am I reading this right? Is that Doomsday?
Yeah. There's a whole arc. There's a whole arc in Superman that explains it all.
Yeah.
Explains it all. But I'm looking forward to KO, and we'll be talking about that next week. But with this week's books, that was the last one, so we are done with this week's books. Feel free to let us know in the comments below what you thought about any of the books we talked about here. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be back soon with the next episode where we cover the second week of October's books.
Yep.
And here's to the consistency and beginning of the Dark Avenger Comic Review return.
Yep.
And as we are now on the road, not only to 600, we are on the road to 600.
Yes.
We will say that. But the future sight road to episode 1000 and beyond.
Yes.
So for right now, we're going to say the road to 600, but in the back of all y'all's minds, remember, we are truly on the road to 1000 and beyond. We're back.
Yep.
And we're better than ever.
Way better than ever.
Till next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see all of you really soon in the next episode.
See you later, everybody.